to Career Safari. And previously in our video, we had discussed on the cost consideration and what your grades can offer you. So once you've got that sorted, the next thing you might want to look at is how much money are you willing to invest on getting that degree dream of yours. A lot of you do not realize that you don't necessarily need to have saved a lot for you to study abroad. There are some countries that offer you scholarships, all right? So there are Commonwealth scholarships. Some companies are willing to offer you a scholarship. Some local countries have the aspiration to actually send their indigents or their citizens to other countries. So if you were considering the amount of money you have to put into gaining that degree dream of yours, you might want to consider, is it coming from your own pocket? In other words, are you sponsoring it by yourself? Or are you thinking of getting a sponsorship or a scholarship? So it's totally up to you. But in my view, if you have to pay from your pocket, in other words, if your parents is sponsoring you, or your family member or your community is sponsoring you, or you have to take time to save the huge money before you go in for that course, then it's a lot of waiting time and you need to think and probably do it right. So note that you might need money to do first. Get your transcript from your school. Like I previously said, you also need money to pay for the application fee. So some schools will either want you to pay for the application fees, or some school will not want you to pay for the application fees. So you need to look at exactly what the criteria is for you to really gain your admission. So first, you also need to know, are you working with an agent or you're doing it personally? So if you're working with an agent, you know that you have to save money to pay for the agency fee. However, if you have the time, you're not working or you're not busy at work, you might also want to sit down and critically do your research yourself to know what school you can get and the best school indeed for the particular course you want to do. So when you are done with that, if you think you don't have enough money for that, you might also want to look at sponsorship options. So there are a lot of sponsorship. In fact, there are a lot of countries, European countries, there are a lot of societies, non-profiting organizations willing to sponsor people. So again, it boils down to your grades. So if you want to get a scholarship, you might want to start working from your primary school to your secondary school, down to your university degree. You might want to work on your grade, because no company or nobody will want to sponsor someone with a poor grade, except it might be some miracle, which rarely happens. So when you get all this sorted, the next thing you want to move on to into considering is, what best country will I study? How convenient the country is and the visa policies. So thinking about the best country to study, I don't really think that there is really one ideal country to study. Now, different countries and the different visa policy have different recommendation for a study visa. So, but the thing I want you to critically look at is, you want to look at a country, first of all, in this kind of period, you want to look at a country that is really managing their COVID situation, the COVID pandemic, critically, because your safety matters. You're not going to go to school going to contract an illness. You want to stay safe and stay healthy, and you don't want to die before you get your dream degree. So safety most importantly. Again, you also want to look at the possibility in that country, can you school and work? So if you are paying from your pocket, you want to also think of how much you can actually gather to reduce the expense, your expense, because you have a lot to pay for. You have your internal transportation to pay for, you have your accommodation to pay for. Sometimes you might have some project that will require some printing and some little things that you need to do to fulfill that dream of yours. You also might want to go in for a placement, of which your placement, the transportation and some of the logistics might require you to have money. So these are things you want to critically consider when it comes to a country and when it comes to the visa policy. Again, you want to look at a country where once you're done studying, you can have a period of time for you to do all that you have studied to gain more skills, more experience. Well, it's totally optional. So if it's your company that's actually sending you to go and study, or if it's your country that's sending you to go and study, I want to believe that they might have provision or a position waiting for you. As soon as you are done graduating, you can come back to your country and start to function. But if you don't have such plan in place, you might want to critically review a country with good, acceptance policy, visa policy, and the right authorization for you to work after schooling. If not, you might be floating after school. All right. So if you have looked at the course itself, you have done your course evaluation. The next thing you want to consider, you've considered your course, you have chosen the best country you want to choose to do that program. The last most important thing you want to really look into is the school itself. Okay, many people really don't pay so much attention to the kind of school that offer them the admission later. They're just interested in getting the admission later, going straight to making that huge international transfer, getting the visa, and off they go. But please, I would advise you to really, really calm down, because you don't want to find yourself in a country and in a school where your current school in your underdeveloped or developing country is much better than. I mean, that's a lot wasted effort. Or you don't want to find yourself going to a school who they're really not the major in that field. You appear in the school, and then there are other schools that are doing much better. They have better laboratory, better staffs, more skilled teachers, they have better dreams, and then they have better platform in place. So when you are thinking about a school, number one, you want to ask yourself, is this school of good grades? In other words, what is the ranking of the school when it comes to academic or educational standard in that country? Well, it depends on you. Some people don't really care, but it's something you want to look at. You cannot compare those who graduate from Harvard University to some really local universities. Well, I really don't know much about those ones, but then those who graduated from Harvard, it's so popular, and a lot of people know the potentials of that school. So it's something you want to critically think about before you look into going into that school. Again, you want to look at your own course, and if that course have the skilled and qualified teachers. So there's some programs that you need to have certain kind of people running that program. So you don't want to get under-skilled or underqualified people running that program. So it's something you need to know, and you need to ask your agent, ask the school, do your research, call people who must have done the program to actually give you this advice. So you need to know if the school is involved in practical. So say, for example, you're going for masters in industrial pharmaceutics. Of course, it requires a lot of skills. It requires a lot of hands-on, and it requires a lot of laboratory technique. So does the school have the disintegration machine? Does the school have the friability apparatus? So these are things you want to know that relates to your course, all right? So again, you want to know if this school have a functional library, okay? Because you want to do your research, you need to go. So you don't want to be traveling from one school. You are in your school, and then you're going to another school to get materials for you to do your experiments. Again, you want to also consider a school that has, good gym. Because sometimes it's going to get really stressful, and you might want to find yourself, cooling off, going to work out and burn out those stress. You need that very, very, very good. All right. Again, you want to consider the school's international affairs team. So there's some school that just get your money, and then you just arrive there and everybody leaves you. You're just there swimming alone, all right? You're just there drowning alone, all right? So you want to get a school where they can help you. They have a good welcoming and settling community that you can find yourself not struggling, all right? Someone to show you and direct you, give you a good introduction about the school and everything. And then if you're actually drowning somewhere along your program, you should be able to find your way back to the International Affairs Office to see how much they can help you. You don't want to get to a place where you were just totally on your own, because trust me, it's a lot different. So say for example, you are coming from Africa, okay? African is known for being very hospitable and very welcoming, and then you're going to some developed country where nobody really cares. Trust me, you don't want to play with a school that has a welcoming staff. So it's something you want to look at critically, it's something you want to really embrace. So this and many more you need to consider before you ever choose a country or a course of study, or if you were considering finding a location in anywhere outside your current country, you really need to sit down and answer the following 5 questions that I have just discussed before you consider doing anything. Trust me, if you are on this process, you don't want to play with effective research and planning, because if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. So thank you really very much. If you like this video, please subscribe, click the link below, share this video, tell someone who is looking at studying abroad, so that the person is not faced with so much cultural or environmental changes. Thank you very much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.